Transmitiendo nuestra comunidad al mundo. En We Love Nogales promovemos nuestra comunidad y su gente, y lo hacemos con mucha pasión, pero sobre todo con gran corazón. Con decenas de seguidores nuevos cada semana en nuestras redes sociales y colaboradores claves, estamos convencidos de que lo que hacemos está en el gusto de usted y de nuestra audiencia. Con entrevistas semanales tocando temas diversos de interés social como salud, educación, cultura, negocios, entre otros, nos hemos ganado la confianza de miles de personas de esta maravillosa región, Arizona, Sonora. En We Love Nogales siempre estamos en búsqueda de nuevas alternativas, ideas vanguardistas acompañados de nueva tecnología que nos ayuden a promover y posicionar nuestra ciudad fronteriza de Nogales a un nivel global. Lo invitamos a que no se vuelva a perder nuestras entrevistas, los acontecimientos y eventos más relevantes de nuestra comunidad. Síganos por aquí en We Love Nogales. Transmitiendo nuestra comunidad al mundo.
Buenos días, muy buenos días a todos de Santa Cruz County. We're here again with Transforming Trauma from Circles of Peace. And today we have some really special guests. We're really excited. We know it's Monday and we're off to a really amazing start today. So I'll let some really amazing ladies introduce themselves. But before that, my name is Jessica Gallego. I'm the Coalition Coordinator here at Circles of Peace, and I am here with Cristina Cota.
Yes, hello everybody. Happy Monday. My name is Cristina Cota, and I am a community educator and behavioral health technician at Circles of Peace.
Yes, thank you so much, Cristina, for joining us today. And I also have Haiti here. Joining us today. Good morning, Haiti.
Good morning, you guys. Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here and happy to be talking about ways of transforming grief in our community.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us today, Haiti. And Haiti is from Child Health and Resilience Mastery. Do you want to talk a little bit about what that is, CHARM?
Yeah. So CHARM, a fun fact about CHARM is it actually means a group of hummingbirds. And so Child Health and Resilience Mastery is a nonprofit that started in 2018 with the mission to empower children and families to strengthen their resiliency in health promoting ways. And what we mean by that, a lot of people think about resiliency in terms of springing forward after experiencing adversity. Or bouncing back, I should say, after experiencing adversity. And we really want to encourage and nurture the ability to grow and spring forward after experiencing adversity. So that's what we do.
I love that. And I love the bouncing back that you mentioned. It's very important. And I know Cristina has a lot of knowledge on resilience with the Go Zen. She has been doing Go Zen with students, right, Cristina?
Yeah, so with the Go Zen program, we've been teaching kids how to handle worry, how to handle anxiety. So we know that in this time of COVID, there's been a lot of worry with kids. Kids have experienced traumatic things just being at home or experiencing relatives passing away and possibly not being able to say goodbye to them. So these are some pretty traumatic experiences that our community has faced, especially with children.
Yes, I agree. And as you mentioned, COVID, we know a lot of people are getting vaccinated right now. Yay, more vaccines. But there's also a lot of grieving, right? And that's what we're going to be talking today. We're going to be seeing how we could bounce back. You know, we have been through difficult things, but what's something that we could do that we could help our children in our community so they could bounce back, or even ourselves? What do you ladies recommend?
I would say just hold space. We need to hold space individually, collectively, to sit with grief, to not ignore it. That's I think the first step, right? A lot of times people don't want to look at it anymore. And, you know, or just don't want to feel it anymore. Or they don't know what to say. And so I think just opening the door to have that conversation and just listen. That's, I think, the key thing that we can do. And we know from the research that just having one caring adult is huge for child health and for building resiliency. So, be that caring adult that opens the door to listen and to hold space for grief.
I love that what you said, Heidi, holding that space. And it's like allowing kids to feel safe to feel the way that they do, like allowing them to understand that it's okay how you're feeling right now. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to still be grieving. And so I think just being that supportive adult, I think that this is what kids are needing right now, is for parents to be supportive, to listen, to understand, to sit with them in their grief, to be a shoulder to cry on, to just be there with them and allow them to understand and not shame them for how they're feeling, but sitting next to them and saying, I'm here for you. I may not understand how you're feeling, but it's okay. What you're feeling is valid. It's okay. And how can I help you move forward from here? And kind of just walking together and figuring out how can we move forward.
Yeah. I think a lot of times too, adults, parents are often hesitant to bring it up, especially in younger children. They assume that maybe because the child is very young, that they don't understand or they're not experiencing grief, and that if they bring it up, that they might be reintroducing anxiety or sadness or loneliness. And it's actually the opposite. We know that infants, weeks young, can sense an absence when a caregiver dies. And so really, I think not ignoring it, but not addressing it, it doesn't allow for the opportunity to transform it. And so really holding space, acknowledging it, talking about it in healthy ways. It's okay for our children to see us cry, be emotional. It shows them that it's okay to be emotional, to cry, and to have these feelings, and that grief is a part of life and that we can get through it. And that we can have moments of joy too.
Yes. And for adults, I know we're focusing on children, but I know a lot of parents are seeing us right now, our audience. But what advice could you give them for grieving? What could they do? I know it's really hard for parents, for adults to always be the strong ones. And like you mentioned, it's okay for their kids to see them cry. It's okay to, but sometimes as Hispanics, as our culture, we don't like showing that. We like to be the strong ones. We like to know we're good. But what do you recommend? What could we do to be able to be okay to grieve properly?
I would say
I don't know if that question is for me or Christy. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
Both.
As an adult, just having those healthy coping skills there, whether that be a hobby or I like how Heidi mentioned that it's okay for you to cry as an adult. It's okay for you to fall apart in front of your kids. And I think that that's a healthy part of the grieving process, is to cry, but also to show your kids like these are other ways that we can cope with stress. We can go out as a family, do hiking trips, do family activities together. Sometimes these moments of grief could actually bring a family together even closer. And so maybe creating these moments where you're spending more time together, you're creating family bonding moments where you're stronger than ever. That's what I think. I don't know if Heidi, you want to add something to that?
Yeah, that's so important. It is absolutely an opportunity for families to come closer together, right? If we allow ourselves to step into that new chapter, right? In a new way, in a new dynamic. I think for adults who are grieving, there is a lot we can't control, even when things seem out of control. So things that we know that are protective for our mental health are gratitude. So keeping a gratitude journal, for example, it sounds silly, right? But I've experienced the power of relentless gratitude when two of my best friends passed away. One in my arms, my apartment burned to the ground. I lost everything I owned. And I was experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder. And it was gratitude that helped to really reframe and rewire my brain, reframe my perspective. And the reason that it works is because it actually crowds out all the negative ruminating thoughts that cause us anxiety. And so when we can crowd those out, it's protective for our mental health, for reducing anxiety. So I would say keep a gratitude journal, or any way that feels right for you to consistently be grateful about that have happened in the past 24 hours. So try to think of something new that's happened in the past 24 hours that you can be grateful for. And, for me, this was really something that I had to try very hard to do, but it was moment to moment often. But I could be grateful for, the fact that, hey, I lost everything I owned, but guess what? I'm still here. My dog wasn't in the apartment. I still have my family, and there's so much that we can still be grateful for. Another thing that I would recommend is to focus on nutrition as a modifiable resilience factors, what we call modifiable resilience factors, things that we can change to help us spring forward. So, making sure that we're not focusing or I guess falling into emotional eating and eating junk food, because those are inflammatory for the body, which can increase our stress, increase all of those emotions. And so having more anti-inflammatory diet really help protect our mental health. Definitely seeking out people that you can talk to, anyone that you trust, that you can talk to, that can hold that space for you. Don't be afraid to reach out and let them know. A lot of times people don't know what to say and they are afraid to bring it up, but they don't want to make us feel worse. And so, make sure you are reaching out if you need help. And in addition to that, if you need professional help, do not feel shamed or like it's a form of weakness, form of strength to seek out that. And just know that there will be moments of joy again.
I love that. And I feel like we could all, even if we're having whatever it is that we're going through, these things could really help us. Eating healthier. If we think it's just a little thing that we're doing to help ourselves, it's going to be better. And sometimes listening you ladies, I'm like writing it down because I'm like, I'm not, whatever I'm going through, that's going to help me. A gratitude journal, coping skills, maybe exercising, all those things could really, really help you. And it's just a matter of giving a chance to it, taking a shot and being like, okay, I'm gonna try this today and it's going to be great. And having that positive attitude, even if it's hard sometimes, it's okay to feel sad, but let's bounce back. Also,
and hope is a skill. Hope is a skill that we can cultivate. So, when you're writing in your gratitude journal and you're writing things you're thankful for, write about the things that you hope for too.
Love that.
Hope for. This is amazing. I'm learning so much. Also, the CDC reported that for every COVID loss, there is an average of 9 individuals mourning that person's death. Mm-hmm. Imagine, sometimes it's just so hard, and there's always hope, like Heidi was mentioning. And something that you also mentioned was joy, that there is joy. And I know that you have an article that you wrote about grief that I would love for you to share about that.
Sure, yeah. Before we move on to that, I want to also speak to those people out there who maybe are not grieving the loss of a loved one or the separation of a loved one, or who are maybe grieving something else. Grief comes in many forms. And so, we did an educators workshop recently for 200 elementary school educators in Nogales Unified School District number 1. And one of the most meaningful testimonials we received was from a teacher who said that the workshop allowed her to grieve the loss of in-person teaching. And so, I think a lot of times we focus on grief and loss as being more related to the death of a loved one, but it can also be for the loss of a job. It could be for the loss of life as we know it, which I think we are all very much, we've all experienced that, right? But thank you for bringing up the article. So that article was like a piece of my heart and soul out into the world. And I'm really proud of it because it really was something that was scary to talk about. And now I just love talking about it. These experiences, I've had so many people reach out to me privately and just sharing how they too experienced those moments of joy and how that piece of writing really helped. So I think the theme of that article is that when our hearts are cracked wide open, it's really an opportunity for light and love to make its way to the deepest parts of our heart and our soul. And if we allow ourselves that space to stay in that vibration of gratitude and love, it's amazing the miracles that will happen to show you that our loved ones are still with us. They're still guiding us. They want to help us heal. And, there are beautiful, meaningful ways that they do this that oftentimes only people who are grieving can truly understand, or if it happens to you. These are called synchronicities or sometimes super synchronicities. But these after-death communications always impart a sense of love and comfort and peace, and they reduce guilt and shame and anger. And so these are things that, are absolutely truly appropriate to talk about. And they're very common, especially during the first year after a loved one has crossed over, including pets. And so, let's nurture those seeds. Let's nurture that light and allow that to transform our grief in our hearts at the time when it's most readily available to make its way to the deepest part of us. I hope that makes sense.
It does. It's so beautiful. I feel inspired by you, Heidi.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're inspired
by you.
People. And what you mentioned, not only grieving a death, but maybe a job. And I feel like since COVID started, we all experienced something similar. It was working from home. At first it was like super fun. We're going to be at home. But then it was like, what happened to our routine? What happened to the routine I already had? That I was getting out of my house. I was, maybe getting ready, whatever it was. Like those little things could really lead us to feeling sad. So it's important to always keep in mind that there's always going to be a better tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And there's always
I'm so glad you bring up routine because this is another modifiable resilience factor. Consistent household routines. So making sure that, parents, even in this time, always, if you can set up a consistent household routine, that will really help your children know what to expect, feel a sense of control and safety, and it will help with their resiliency going forward.
So routines are really good for children. That would help them.
For everyone, yeah.
Yes. So routine, having coping skills.
It sounds like, like the disruption to routine was something that you that I can sense from you was like really something difficult that
Yes.
A lot of people probably feel the same.
Yes. And then we started working here at the office again, and then getting back to that routine was hard. And I feel like children, when they started hybrid, and then some started going to school, and it was like, wait, no, like, how am I going to start over again? So it's really difficult. And we have the YADA youth group, the Youth Against Drugs and Alcohol. And talking to them, they have mentioned how difficult it has been just to have that routine of school. Connect.
To reintegrate.
Yes. And it's been so hard, even if they have siblings going through the same thing, they all experience it differently. And especially with their parents, for their parents, it has been really to keep them motivated. Do you know, what could we recommend those families that are having trouble having their kids motivated, or even themselves, or ourselves? You know, sometimes we don't feel motivated. What could we do?
Christina?
I'm trying to think of, because my husband and I, aside from working at Circles, we have a youth group from our church. And a lot of what we would hear was that lack of motivation to do school, because everything was online. So they're in their bed with their laptop. And of course, if you're in your bed with your laptop, you just don't want to do much. But I would encourage families to, along with creating that routine, is maybe creating a space separate from where you sleep, where you eat, and just a separate space where they can study and focus. I know everybody's different in how they are motivated, but I feel like maybe creating that separate space. I know that we're now transitioning to back to school, but if you're still virtual, maybe just creating that desk area or somewhere where you're less distracted. And then I think even that Heidi's point of the gratitude journal is very encouraging, and writing what you hope for, what you hope to see this year, what you hope to see next year, and just knowing that it's okay. Oh, I see Heidi has something.
It's a gratitude journal. I don't think you can.
Oh, love it. I could barely see it, but it looked really pretty with all the flowers. But just,
I recommend it for women. The Gratitude Journal for Women, illustrations by Lee Vernon. Find happiness and peace 5 minutes a day.
Amazing. Where could someone find that?
Amazon. And it's like $6.
Awesome.
I'll send it. I could post the link or something in the comments later.
Okay, amazing. But yeah,
then go ahead.
Heidi.
I didn't mean to. Excited about the gratitude journal.
But just keeping that hope remaining.
So I guess the other thing that I would recommend is, go on.
It's okay. I think we're like lagging here.
Like a delay.
Go ahead, Heidi.
Oh no, just to your point, to keep that hope, to strengthen those skills of hope, which we can do. We know we can, there's a lot of research that shows that we can strengthen our hope skills. Also for those who are reintegrating back to school for this, short time, or maybe through summer school, we are the ambassadors of the Choose Love movement. And there's a curriculum called Brave New World. And this is completely free, and it's focused on reintegrating back into school and really acknowledging what we've all gone through, acknowledging the elephant in the room, because that's what we know is going to open that space to have those conversations and to help children feel like it's normal, and to give them some additional skills and tools for coping, and to practice their Choose Love formula: courage plus gratitude plus forgiveness, plus compassion in action equals choosing love.
What is it called again, Heidi?
It's Choosing Love in Our Brave New World.
Okay.
And so we've been working with Dallas Unified. It's completely digital platform now. And so we're working with Nogales Unified School District, to launch Choose Love in all of the elementary schools, and we're available to at no cost with helping to launch the program in all of the other schools who would like to use this social and emotional learning program. And the Choosing Love in Our Brave New World in particular is age specific. They're all age specific. This one is in particular COVID focused, so that that teachers really have the tools to be able to have those conversations when kids come back to the classroom.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm really glad that you guys are offering that to our community. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're really lucky, I think, in this time of COVID too, that we've been able to have Scarlett Lewis, the founder of the Choose Love movement, speak to the educators about her story, about the movement. We've had volunteers, other ambassadors, other parts of the country, Lisa McKenzie, for example, who helped co-write the curriculum. And so, we were able to reach 200 educators just in January during 2 separate workshops, and we're available to do that again. So we'll be doing that for the College of Public Health at the University of Arizona. And we're here, we're available to support our schools, our teachers who have done and are doing so much, and we're so grateful to them.
Yay, thank you so much. And as a little recap of all the good information that you guys are sharing, of all the good things that you guys are doing here in Santa Cruz County, listen to your children. Parents, validate their feelings. It's important for you to validate those feelings because they are also going through difficult times. Have a gratitude journal. It's very, very important. Probably put it in the comments, the link where you guys could find it on Amazon for $6.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be anything special either, a notebook is fine.
Yeah. So the point is to start. Just start with whatever makes you feel better, makes you feel happy, and bounce back. Let's bounce back as Santa Cruz County. We're stronger than ever, and we're all in this together. So thank you so much for joining us. Do you guys have any last comments?
Yes, I just want to invite anybody who has grieving children in their life. If you're a family with a grieving child, please contact us. We have Camp Druzy, July 9th, 10th, and 11th. We're actually inviting back all the families who participated last year as well. And we've received referrals from elementary schools and from the community. Because it's virtual, our costs are low. We can really accommodate a lot of families, and we want to accommodate a lot of families. It's a fun, strengths-based mini camp. You'd be so surprised with the transformations that we've been able to see in families when they're in the safety of their home and their comfort of their own home with each other. We teach mindfulness, heart meditation. We have time sessions with horses, virtually, which are incredible. There's a lot of creative expression and connection with families, Reiki, distance Reiki. I mean, there's a lot of really fun stuff that we're doing. And we're grateful to be able to bring in experts from all over to be able to provide this at no cost to families in Santa Cruz County or Southern Arizona.
Where could they contact you or reach you if they want to join that, or if they have any more questions about the programs you offer?
Yeah, they can visit our website. It's www.charmaz, like Arizona.org. Okay. They can find us on Facebook and Instagram too, Child Health Resilience Mastery.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Christina, any last comments on this beautiful Monday?
I'll just say stay resilient, stay hopeful, and get yourself a gratitude journal. I'm going to get myself one. That sounds really cool.
Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope this information, and I know this information will help the people in Santa Cruz County. It's very, very helpful. And I know you both are here to support Santa Cruz County. You guys are doing amazing things, and people could reach out to you because you guys are trusted adults. And here in Circles of Peace as well, we're here to support everyone, to whatever we could do to help you, to help your family, to help your children. Like I mentioned before, we're all in this together. So thank you so much for everything you ladies are doing, and we will see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Jessica.
Take care of yourself. Wash your hands.
Yes. Mask up, everyone.
Yes. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
En We Love Nogales promovemos nuestra comunidad y su gente, y lo hacemos con mucha pasión, pero sobre todo con gran corazón. Con decenas de seguidores nuevos cada semana en nuestras redes sociales y colaboradores claves, estamos convencidos de que lo que hacemos está en el gusto de usted y de nuestra audiencia. Con entrevistas semanales tocando temas diversos de interés social como salud, educación, cultura, negocios, entre otros, nos hemos ganado la confianza de miles de personas de esta maravillosa región, Arizona, Sonora. En We Love Nogales siempre estamos en búsqueda de nuevas alternativas, ideas vanguardistas acompañados de nuevas tecnologías que nos ayuden a promover y posicionar nuestra ciudad fronteriza de Nogales a un nivel global. Lo invitamos a que no se vuelva a perder nuestras entrevistas, los acontecimientos y eventos más relevantes de nuestra comunidad. Síganos por aquí en We Love Nogales. Transmitiendo nuestra comunidad al mundo.